Hello and welcome to the commentary of this TAS. I'm AleMastroianni and yeah, let's do it. So as you will see, this TAS has different sets of scripts because I wanted to show you like more of a different perspective to understand mainly the RNG logic and the startling glitch logic. So, let me start by explaining Crash Cove before the actual TAS starts. Basically, as you will see on the left, there is the progression and the checkpoint value. Both are dependent on each other. The progression value keeps track of basically the cart, where the section where it is, what is it facing, how is it oriented, etc. And it keeps updating even if you go out of bounds or on the border that doesn't have checkpoints. Instead, the checkpoint value only updates when you're driving on track polygons. The difference is that the progression value will keep updating when out of bounds only for a short amount of time, basically as long as you are on that little section that it's linked to that progression value. So here I join Crash Cove and I will talk about RNG later. So in Crash Cove, after I go in a very tiny window for the out of bounds, I just drive back the track. It happened to be on the road because otherwise I wouldn't be able to fall off. And the main thing is that I will fall down when crossing again the start line in the correct driving sense. What this does is that the progression value, if you pay attention, will update again when I cross the finish line, and it will update once again when I respawn, because the mask basically teleported me back there, so I get placed first before even dropping down. And the reason I'm able to drop down is because Crash Cove doesn't have a little section of mask grab, and that's also the reason why I don't do a starting turbo. So yeah, that was Crash Cove, and yeah, I think I didn't miss anything about the startling glitch there, because it's controversial. There is also no main zone, which we will encounter later, but since I got placed first before even landing, that makes it a startling glitch. So here we have row tubes, and the thing about row tubes is that it revolves all around speed ghosts and reserves management. So I manipulated the RNG value by waiting one more frame in the hub before joining the work by using the back camera, so adding lag. As you already saw, I just gained speed ghost. I'm already chaining it with uphills. So speed ghost is temporary speed, which we can keep with frogging or bunny hop, just mashing the jump buttons, and it's pretty tricky. So I'm trying to manipulate the RNG here for bombs to get more Wumpas, but unfortunately I don't have complete manipulation over the RNG table, as you can see. So getting this bomb was really hard, and I will explain more about this later. So yeah, as I was saying, raw tubes is basically SGs, which you can get in the legit way by going on downhills, or you can, this one is W's, but you can increase them in froggy in doing uphills, doing froggy in uphills, which is very precise, and severe speedway walls, corner SGs, etc. And that was raw tubes. So for the tubes, I didn't mention it while it was playing, but other than the bombs, I used the red turbo item without 10 Wumpas and with 10 Wumpas, because the red turbo item basically gives me an amount of reserves, which is the amount of gasoline we have, as you can see, but I guess you're probably already familiar with the term. Anyway, I will explain it more into that while the task goes. So here we have mystery caves, Mr. Caves is pretty similar to Rotubes because basically we still chain speed ghosts from a main downhill. So the thing is that we get the first speed ghost from the downhill, which is also this one, but this is not the main one. This one is pretty huge as well. And then we just keep it with some frogging, especially on uphills, which is, as I was saying, pretty tricky because you need to follow a certain pattern, and most of the time the speed ghost will basically die, so you need specific trajectories which differ every time due to lag or angle of the kart. And here, as you just saw, I took a huge speed ghost after getting 2 jumps from the turtles, and that's the reason why the starting lap is so fast compared to the other 2. That's because the turtles cycles were not, I couldn't manipulate them, they were on global cycles. So I only got the turtles up in 1 lap of the race, so this was the best result I could get. And yeah, this track, other than using speed ghosts, doesn't use unintended skips, but it's all about not a lot of reserves management, but mainly I mean, I used, yeah, SCGs, but red turbos and Wumpas, as you saw. So red turbos, as I was saying, give always the same amount of reserves, even if you have the item with 10 Wumpas. But it differs, like, till the 9th Wumpa, it will give you yellow fire, and when it's powered up, it will give you sacred fire. And sacred fire and yellow fire are fire levels, which we will see later. And that was Mystery Caves. So yeah, I was just saying it's kind of hard to keep like doing a straight commentary while the task goes, because it's, I don't know, it's too fast. Anyway, so that was Mystery. Yes. Now we have Seaward Speedway, which I believe is one of the worst track for Tiny. This character, it's not the worst, like, at all, but it was pretty hard to optimize due to the fact that we are in NTSC version, and also because of its turn-in capabilities, which make this track a pain. This track was mainly about yeah, speed ghosts again. Reserves did matter, because if you're not getting a land boost, it's better to have reserves when frogging speed ghosts. So here I took the first corner speed ghosts of this run, which were at the beginning, and those ones are pretty precise. Also, these ones on the walls are kinda the thing that makes Seaward Speedway and CTR famous, I guess. That from what I see in general, and no one really knows why that's a thing. I suppose it's because of the gravity or the Z speed, but yeah. Also, these speed ghosts, even this one in the middle section of the track, are pretty specific. I didn't even know it was possible in NTSC for the middle one. And are pretty huge, but generally they are stronger in PAL, and if they're not stronger, they generally last longer on PAL due to the lower FPS, so Froggy is more efficient on that version. For RNG, yeah, Wumpas again, and yeah, reserves with turbos where the game gave them to me, which I didn't really want to, but I managed to manipulate it a bit. So for Wumpas, as I was saying, and that was Seaward Speedway, for Wumpas, each one of them till the 9th gives a speed increase, and the last one doesn't increase your speed, it just powers up your item. Okay, here we have Rerecord, which is the first boss of the game. And basically Rotubes is the same. The main difference with boss races is that you can't actually get masks, the mask item. That's because the game forces you to pick another item. when you are supposed to have a mask. So in Papu, the Papu boss, you will actually see a mask in the table down below, but I wouldn't be able to get that. So as you can see here in row, I have a good RNG theoretically, because I have 2 bombs, but I couldn't actually use both of them because you can only get one. I mean, after you break a Wumpa box, the RNG value spins again. So I tried to get the box later or shoot it backwards, but that didn't work out. Yeah, the rest of the tubes is basically the same, with the biggest amount of red turbos I was able to get. I actually skipped 1 frame in the before joining the bots cutscene, which is I can do that like by pressing start when after a Silver Speedway race, like 1 frame later, for the cutscene. Yeah, I don't think I need to cover anything else for the tubes. It's pretty much self-explanatory at this point. So about the RNG value, now that we have time between the hub movement, it spins like following some different rules. So every frame in the hub, while not being in cutscenes is a bit slower, even if it moves. It spins every frame in the hub, or in races it spins if you break a vial, a green vial, a green potion, whatever you want to call it, when you are near the CPU after the first item box broken, when you break Wumpa box, as I said before, and when you change checkpoints, and of course when you drop down a position in the race. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, as you see, there are a lot of factors to take care of, to take into account before joining a warp, and planning the RNG for the world race, which was a bit of pain, especially in some tracks like N.Gin Labs, and forced me to do all TASes again. So here we are in Tiger Temple with the first mask abuse, and this was pretty insane and funny actually to TAS, even if I had a few desins, because of the mask in lap 1 is just insane. I don't know, I didn't expect it. Also with 10 Wumpas and with a pretty good SG. So yeah, that was basically the rest of Tiger is SGs, as you will see, which are pretty insane and were not easy at all. Actually, that was the only annoying part of this track, and I used the analog to get it. So here I am on the grass section, which has a slow proc. Basically, if you have a speed ghost, it will just go down immediately, and that's also the reason why reserves management is important on this track. I can't actually just froggy and not care about reserves, because I will lose the speed ghost on the grass, so I need to have Sacred Fire after that. What else? Yeah, this track, I mean, every track is about speed ghosts at this point, but yeah, the Nitro thing was frame perfect actually. That was really fun to TAS as well. Yeah, I guess I can talk about fire levels. Most of you might be already familiar with that, but while I'm at it, why not? So as you can see on the right, there is Turbo 1, 3, and also 2, which is not shown, SF, USF, and also Yellow Fire, which is also not shown. Basically, as long as we have reserves, which is the amount of gasoline, as I said, we have, that we can increase by power sliding, jumps, mini turbos, of course, in chain, in a power slide, turbo red item, etc. We can keep a certain amount of set speed indefinitely, so it's not temporary, and I will cover more out on how to get them later. So here we have Coco Park, which is the second mask abuse, and the thing about mask is that it has a speed cap, so the best use for this mask was in lap 1, because there is no Sacred Fire pad at the beginning, which led me to have the highest amount speed possible in the first section. In the tunnel I get a huge jump, which gave me Sacred Fire immediately without having to worry about the the turbo pad here, and that led me to being able to do the mega shortcut even in lap 1, so I could cut even more. The rest of Coco Park is about the first shortcut and the tunnel, as you're seeing, because that's a chain of speed ghosts you can get starting from the shortcut and in the tunnel, which you can refresh. And the rest, yes, is also a red turbo item for even reserves, more reserves. The thing is that we get this corner speed ghost after the shortcut, and then after frogging it in the uphill, in the tunnel, of course, we get a double speed ghost in the first downhill when ending the tunnel. That's done by getting the first speed ghost, waiting a few frames, and then jumping again, refreshing another new speed ghost. And that was Coco Park. Usually this refresh speed ghost on a intended downhill doesn't work, but it's very specific on Coco Park and it works there for some reason. It doesn't work with 3 chains SGs, 3 chains of jumps, of course. Yep. So now we are at Papu's Pyramid, and this is one of the most broken track of the game, I guess. Made CTR pretty famous for being broken just like in the past few years. And this is a shortcut I found in like 2018, I guess, I don't remember, 2 years ago, just casually. And the thing is that it looks simple. Here we have another mask abuse, of course, but it's actually pretty specific. Only a few people did it. You have to land after crossing the first checkpoint, as you're saying, in a specific spot, and the thing is that it's really far and you need a high speed and also a good trajectory on the wall, which is out of bounds, to get to. So yeah, mask helped me, but on the other lap, especially lap 3 and boss race, it was kinda tricky to TAS. Also because I was using time. So. Here we have Dingo Canyon, right after this mask animation, and also this is the last mask animation for tutorials, which will lead to another glitch abuse we will see later. It's the trophy skip. Yeah, so Dingo Canyon. Okay, this is not like, I guess this is one of the track I hated most in the game. Also in this TAS I couldn't really get a mask abuse. The CPU was too slow with a bunch of RNG values. Also the item box were pretty far, so it was not even worth. And also being an anti-SC made corner speed ghosts also a bit weaker, so yeah, I tried to manipulate RNG as best as I could, but yeah. I take this right path only in the starting lap, and you will see why later. And the rest is corner SGs, as you can see, while keeping reserves, because there is a slow proc in the first shortcut at the beginning of each lap. So, as I was saying, I took the right path at the beginning because I wanted the Wumpas, but only for TAS it's actually better to take the left path, because you're allowed to increase your speed ghost at a higher amount, so you can get a stronger speed ghost. But you can get Wumpas, so that's the main difference about starting lap and lap 2 and 3. Lap 3 and lap 2 are pretty similar. Actually I do the same things, going the left path and getting red turbos and Wumpas whenever it was possible. I don't think I even get it in lap 3, because I already had 7 and the max for speed increase is 9. Yeah. That was Dingo Canyon. I couldn't actually get like 9 Wumpas, because if I changed the RNG I wouldn't even get the red turbo item, so I did like 3 or 4 times this task. It was really annoying, I hate it. And here we have Papu Papu, the second boss. The race is basically the same, but here I don't have the same RNG, of course, because the table is different, and also I can't use a mask. So in the first race I used the red turbo item for immediate yellow fire, and here I don't have it. So I went for Wumpas, even if it didn't have like for more than 3 frames, I guess. It's still a in game, so why not? And here it's the best part. I don't know, it looks amazing. I like it too much. I was surprised actually for the bomb to not fall down, being in air for a few seconds, allowing me to get Wumpas. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Even to while in TAS, I was like, what? Yeah, the race is really over. So Papu didn't eat enough papa. So yeah, that was Hub 2. So we are halfway through the TAS, technically, but that's not true because the tracks from now on, except a few, will be pretty long and complicated also. The tracks where tiny works well are kind of over now, because the main difference, the main two characters used in RTA are Tiny Tiger, this one, and Coco. Coco has a slower speed but a better turning, so it's not really clear which one is faster, but it looks like Tiny is faster around 22 seconds in the whole run. Also in TAS I had to take into consideration that I was able to do a lot of more things, so TAS and Tiny was my choice. Here instead we have Blizzard Bluff, and in this track we don't care at all about preserves. We are always getting basically always getting a SG from jumps, so I kinda have reserves when I get SGs for the short amount of time, and that's all I need. And yeah, it's the first run without major shortcuts that gets a sub 1 minute. Yep. What else? Yeah, rest is RNG for red turbos, but I didn't even care here, and mainly Wumpas. You may see that for lap 1 and 2 I went like really close to some Wumpas, and you may be wondering why I didn't get them. Here a speed boost from Dingo, thanks Dingo. And that's because even moving a bit left or right to get a Wumpa in the middle section was like decreasing my speed ghost due to trajectories and the position of the Wumpa itself. So I didn't actually take it in lap 1 and 2, depending on what the speed value was behaving. And that was basically Blizzard Bluff. That was fun because in the whole run we kinda jumped on Dingo Dial a few times. You may have noticed on Dingo Canyon and on Speedway Speedway, Blizzard, and you will also see it again later. So here you saw a trophy skip animation. Since we don't have the tutorials anymore, you can just do a frame perfect thing and skip a bit of the animation. And then Dragon Mines. Okay, so loading. Okay, loaded. And yeah, Dragon Mines was also a pain, and this wins for the most hated track, I guess, in CTR by everyone, I hope and I believe, because it's Dragon Mines, come on. Yeah, also Wumpas, and not really useful that green shell, because I got it even later, but there wasn't anything else for the RNG table. Basically, Dragon Mines is about the first speed ghosts, and you don't even care that much about preserves, and chaining it, landing even in the lake section properly. The pain is here in the shortcut, because you lose reserves and speed, because you have to U-turn due to the fact that we're using Tiny. And yeah, here I took my chance and I got both 10 Wumpas, blue green shell, which was not useful, but you know, why not, and a red turbo, which allowed me to be in Sacred Fire here and abuse the lag because the GPU was there, and I got a huge speed ghost, and that really saved lap 3. That was really, really good in my eyes. Yeah, that was Dragon Mines. So what else? Yes, I was saying for fire levels, while we get to Polar Pass, fire levels basically are turbo to 1 to 3. You can get them with the jump from 0.66 to 0.99. It's the value you see in the bottom right corner when using the game speedometer. I'm not using it here because I'm using the map. and also 100 to 149 for yellow fire, and above 150 for sacred fire. So, Polar Pass. Okay, this is my favorite track in the whole game. I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. I don't know, it's snowy, the colors, I don't know. Didn't really need that much red turbos, but was the only useful thing, so why not? And also a huge amount of speed ghosts chained over and over and over. Even if they were resetting, because when you get a huge jump before you land, the speed ghost doesn't exist anymore. So I just was refreshing them, getting new ones over and over. Huge jump at the end, I don't even know how that happened. Of course, I'm joking, I know. And yeah, lap 2 and 3 take the right path because it's faster due to trajectories, and also already having SG and Sacred Fire. And the other 2 laps are pretty much similar. Actually did a mid-air here. I guess I can talk about TAS while the Polar Pass plays out. And yeah, Polar Pass is about SGs. Oh yes, also Dingo Dial abuse again. 4 times in this run. I guess 1 for each hub now that I think about it, yes. Wow, that's I didn't think about that. So TAS, we have a mid-air when you're doing a mini turbo while also doing a jump, as you probably know and you saw. U-turn when you do a sharp turn with a specific input, which is down or left or right and square, which you can combine with Froggy. It's pretty useful, at the cost of all your reserves, because you lose reserves when you hit a collision, so a wall, or you press a square, or they simply run out, because they run out over time. That's why doing mini turbos in chain, in sequence, is better than doing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 over and over, because of the amount of time between finishing the first one and beginning the other one. So this is the last track for Hub 3 before the boss race, which is Tiny Arena. And this is sub 1 minute with a new shortcut that I casually made work like 4 months ago during quarantine. It's about a startling glitch, I guess. You can find more infos on the submission on TAS videos, explained well. Yeah, there is a huge amount of speed ghosts in corners, and you may not see it, but actually dropping down while being close to the wall, so I basically abused the wall, and getting not 1 but 2 masks abused, like super close. It was really crazy that I was able to pull it off. I was not sure it was possible at all. And this made the following shortcuts super easy. So the first one is pretty old, and it's the link there. The next one, we called it the Corky because Corky was the first one to do it RTA. And yeah, it's also, you can see the progression and checkpoint value, how it behaves. It follows the same logic of Crash Cove about the reset of the progression. Yep, that was all Tiny Arena. Now it's tiny for real. So Dragon Mines. Yes, in the boss race, basically the run is the same of the first. So I will cover maybe a bit more of the game mechanics while Dragon Mines plays. What I was saying before that, I actually forgot. So I was talking about fire levels, and each fire level has a set amount of speed. So Turbo 1, 2, 3 increase. Sacred Fire, you can get it so from a turbo pad, from a red turbo item powered up turbo pads, and USF you can only get it from the super turbo pads, which are in every Hub 4 track, but are specific. It's not like every Hub 4 track turbo pads are USF pads. Also, you lose USF when you brake, so you hit square, when you of course hit a collision, basically when you lose reserves, or when you get another fire level. So if you do mini turbos or hit a normal turbo pad, you will lose yourself even if you have reserves. Yep. So here I almost did the glitch, I guess. some people should know. I think most of the people that played OG CTR know about that. In Dragon Mines, where it doesn't count the lap, the thing is that the gravel section, the purple one, I don't know if it's purple because I'm colorblind, doesn't have checkpoints, so the game doesn't have updated, basically the updated data about you. So if you jump, it's like you're jumping from an earlier section of the track, and the game thinks you just drove back. Of course, it's a bug, and someone is calling me. Sorry. So as I was saying, yes, of course that's a bug, but yeah, that's the way the game behaves for that reason. So that was Komodo Joe, the third boss, and yeah, that's it for Hub 3. Only Hub 4 is left, and Oxide, of course. So, I think I said everything for RNG, fire levels, U-turn, mid-airs, speed ghosts. Yeah. You may be wondering how I turn fast when a race is over, like not now, but when I'm on the podium. Tiny turns really fast with 0 speed, and the way you do that, actually a funny speed boost here, not funny but strong. The way you do that is by spamming the cross button and the directional value. So Tiny with 0 speed turns really fast, so that's the best way to start with 0 speed and turn. Okay, so N.Gin Labs, I hated TASing this track, and anyway, as you can see here, speed ghosts from turbo pads and double jumps, and reserves are key in this track, along speed ghosts, as you can see, which are also here pretty random due to lag. So the reason I have to keep reserves is because, of course, I need to use USF here in the last section for that turbo pad, and yeah, basically I want to keep them like till here. Of course, that was planned, because Tiny doesn't really turn. I guess I made that obvious by now, but yeah, it doesn't really turn well, so the best way to save time there is by just U-turning, so I just need reserves for lap 1 and 2 till the first turn, for lap 3 of course, till the goal. So the rest of the course is basically the same, so having reserves and a turbo pad, red turbo pad, where I could, and here I used it immediately when starting to power slide, because that gave me Sacred Fire, which was a kind of an optimization for like 0-10, 3 or 4 frames. But yeah, and also yeah, for the third lap I don't need to stress about that much about reserves, because I know I need them like for a shorter amount of time, so I can froggy a bit more. Unfortunately, lag didn't allow that, except for the end. And yeah, here I take like another turbo pad. The amount of reserves I have before doing the last mini turbos is 0, so that was crazy that only those like 2 mini turbos and a red turbo and a turbo pad gave me enough reserves to get till the end. And that was N.Gin Labs. I hated testing it, but I was pretty satisfied with it. I am pretty satisfied. The amount of corner speed ghosts were crazy, and also really strong. I think that corner speed ghosts on N.Gin Labs are the strongest in the game. Like, I don't even think that's a fact. They go even beyond ram speed. Like if you do a calculation for X and Y speed, you'll get like a stronger thing. And anyway, here we have Cortex Castle and another mask abuse, which was kinda lucky. I didn't know the CPU could go that fast, even if the items were that far. and I use it immediately for the same reason I used it immediately in Coco Park. Here I do have Sacred Fire, but I don't have reserves, so while building reserves, because I need to use the USF pad like in N.Gin Labs, I could also go fast due to the fact that I was using a mask and also cutting corners, especially the first one, so that was really good for a starting lap. It's crazy. I really didn't plan till I joined the warp to get a mask here. I was really surprised by the CPU. So the rest is, of course, especially for USF pads, tracks, so N.Gin Labs and Cortex. Red turbos are key, so I tried to get the best seeds I could, and I'm not too disappointed by it. I got a decent amount of good RNG in both races. So basically Cortex Castle is a very punishing track if you don't do proper cornering. You may not notice it, but the track will punish you really hard if you misplay here. So for the third lap, of course, same reason, I don't care that much about reserves, so I just corner, increase speed ghosts on uphill whenever it's possible, while also keeping the minimum amount of reserves I had to maintain till the end of the race. Yeah, basically Cortex Castle is one of the few tracks that doesn't rely that much on speed ghosts. Rather, it's about cornering and reserves management. So I guess it's I don't think it's more skilled, because if you know what you're doing, you can consistently get speed ghosts on other tracks, except for corner ones, of course. So here we have on Skyway another NG manipulation. As you saw, I slowed down a bit, and this track, I don't know, I like playing this track on PS1, but I don't know, this was the worst RNG I could possibly have. The CPU was always slow, even with different RNG seeds, and yeah, so I had to slow down a bit to get the mask. The rest is the first shortcut, basically, as you saw, and yeah, shortcut 2 and the hairpin at the end, so 3 shortcuts per lap in total. And yeah, I will use the mask when I have 10 Wumpas, because I'm constantly U-turning here, so it's best if I use it for the biggest amount of time, so I have to get 10 Wumpas first. First section we don't get speed ghosts, and after the first shortcut we start abusing them, especially these ones with the corner before a second shortcut, the U-turn one. The reason I U-turn and go like deep down there and then like turn the whole cart back is because you don't actually have the checkpoints unless you drive forward. So the third lap starts, and here I just use the mask and I try to cut as much as possible with it. I actually tried to get the mega shortcut with it, but it's not actually possible, unfortunately. It was really sad. I tried a lot to do it, but it's not really possible. And also here I have the red turbo item, which I'm gonna use after U-turning, so I immediately start with Sacred Fire. Yeah, that's it. That was Air Skyway. And here we have, of course, the last trophy skip animation and the last trophy, because after that we will only face two bosses. So of course here I just take another speed ghost, because why not, but I still have to slow down. And the RNG here was funny. I knew I wanted to do this, but I didn't know if I actually could. Like, I didn't know if the CPU was going to be in the way, so it was a gamble. It played out well. I'm really satisfied with it. So here I take a bomb, and I just use it to get both an item and Wumpas, and also because I'm out of bounds. Meanwhile, my last position is that the CPU beats my last position before going out of bounds, so I just take a mask because why not? And the rest is a shortcut one after another. The first one and the second one are pretty common, and the last one, the one I'm doing here, it's another new shortcut found 2 years ago from Nix. And I don't actually end the lap, as you saw. The progression value overflowed, and so the lap didn't start until now for the extender startling glitch. I think the best way to understand this is just by reading the submission on tasvideos.org. Basically, the startling glitch allows the character to start a lap later than usual if you're following certain conditions, like leaving the track, leaving the checkpoint value, the track, and going out of bounds near the end of the lap. So the progression value keeps updating and eventually overflows, but the checkpoint value don't. So the game doesn't really know if it should start a new lap, and you're allowed to start it a few polygons later. What happened in Oxide Station, it's like a extended or reversed startling glitch, because you're still allowed to land a few sections before you actually left the track the last time, because you didn't end the first lap, yet. So the game allows you to end after the goal and a bit after the goal, and we can just make the lap start like that at the last possible polygon to get a shorter lap, of course, and shorter course time, because I skipped like the wall race. So for Pinstripe started while I was finishing explaining this, but I mean, Air Skyway is basically the same, except that of course the RNG is always different, and I couldn't get the mask. So here I used the turbo item immediately to immediately have yellow fire after the U-turn, which saved like 0.20, maybe a bit more, 0.25. And yeah, the rest is always first shortcut, corner SGs, second shortcut for checkpoints, yellow fire as fast as possible while having reserves mid-air, and as little SGs because why not, and the hairpin at the end. The hairpin is also used in speedruns. It's fairly medium difficult, it's not really easy, but it's doable consistently. Yeah, and right there I just avoided one bomb with the green shell, because why not? That didn't actually make the game lag, so don't worry, that was still optimized. Yeah, and that's the wall race basically. I do the hairpin another time here. Yep. Not actually worth to go for 10 Wumpas, because that will require me to waste a bit more time by doing bad trajectories. So 6 was more than enough compared to the maximum 9, which is like a shorter increase and not worth at all. From my testing, of course. And that leaves us with Oxide Station Part 2, the last boss of the game, where we have to beat Oxide from turning we have to beat Oxide and stopping him from turning the earth into a parking lot. Fortunately for us, fortunately for us, I don't think I'm a Gasmoxian. Fortunately for us, I doesn't know that Tiny is gonna break him and shame him like never before, so it's even more satisfying, because I guess most of us were not really happy when we first played the game, when Oxide cheated on us, so that's my revenge on him. Yeah, he may be happy now because we're going in the wrong way and he's actually first, but that won't last long at all. So bye Oxide, and we will see you before the end of the race, maybe. So the rest is, as you can see, taking checkpoint from the down section of the pad and using it as a ramp to skip the whole race till here. I go on the road to grab the checkpoints to be able to actually keep doing the glitch, otherwise the mask will pick me up. Leaving in the last checkpoint, doing the whole path to make the second lap start with the start line glitch, and also staying still on the corners, on the borders, because I still want to be able to skip second lap, so it's not worth to go on the track in second lap. And yeah, basically I do the same. The progression value plays in our favor, and yeah, that's it. And I think we beat Oxide. I don't know if his lap ended there. I leave to you the choice if we lapped him or not, but yeah, I guess he won't turn the Earth into a parking slot, and I'm surprised he even needs the what the fuck am I saying? He even needs the relics and gems to still admit he's not the fastest. Anyway, enough chatter. That's it. I honestly did my best for this commentary. I tried it. You don't know how many times I tried it, because stopping it and doing it in various time periods wasn't really efficient, and yeah, I had to keep track of what I already said. It wasn't working out, so I just did a pause after I got a call, obviously, and I'm actually recording 5 hours later because stuff happened. That's life. So that's the TAS. I really hope you enjoyed having this commentary and the other perspective, especially for the RNG. I wanna thank again everyone. Like, I really mean to thank. I guess I'll just start. So Lapogne first, for giving us a few years ago his scripts when he decided to stop doing the CTR TAS, and that increased our motivation and interest for the values of the game, etc., research in general. Nix, for being the main TASer for CTR, giving new strats, basically being the pioneer for CTR TAS after Zord. The whole community for still being active after Nitro Fueled, which surprised me. It's not actually that active now, but I guess that's understandable. CTR, La Cloaca di CTR, the Italian community, which introduced me to time trials. Red Dot, BR, and Schwoopless for just being there the whole this year, and I don't know how many years it's been that I know at them, and also for the progression and checkpoint and NMZ scripts. Thunder Axe and and No More Lasagna for the script I used in the main TAS without the commentary, and also basically No More Lasagna did the main script, and as I said, Thunder Axe did a lot of work, as much as work, fixing it, like the position and everything, and also including some more stuff before preparing the publication for the TAS. He actually helped me a lot, and yeah, they both deserve the credit, so please go support them if you care about TASes. And thanks Spike Stuff again for his encode. Thanks Corky for his reverse engineering on CTR for the RNG, etc. And also Nico and all the other developers for CTR modding. Thanks Loris, which is part of CTR Italia, for introducing me to time trials in 2009, so 11 years ago. And also Laioso. And I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anyone. Yeah, I mean, thanks everyone, really, because the main reason this happened is because there was a lot of collaboration. I mean, yes, I did the TAS. It was not easy at all. It took a lot of time. That's a given. But I enjoyed doing it. I did it first because I wanted to, and I'm only happy this project was also well received from other people. But I liked it, except like a few tracks. But I guess, like, I don't guess, like, CTR needed a TAS. It was the only Naughty Dog Crash Bandicoot game without a TAS. And yeah, due to lag frames, desyncs, a lot of problems on the way, it was never really done till now, unlike the other Crash games. So I'm proud, but most importantly I'm happy that this became a reality. And yes, so thank you. See ya.